Sewing garments is not as difficult as you might think, even if you're a total beginner. It all comes down to doing the proper fabric prep to make your sewing super easy. Hi, I'm Angela Wolf with some essential techniques that every beginner sewer should know. Before you even lay out your pattern and cut the fabric, it's important to pre-treat it. If you plan on washing and drying your finished garment, pre-shrink your fabric by washing and drying it, especially if you're using a natural fiber like cotton or wool. If you plan on dry cleaning your garment, just go to the dry cleaner and ask them to steam press your fabric. Once you've prepped your fabric, grab your pattern pieces and prepare to cut them out. Each pattern piece has an arrow which refers to the grain line, or the direction you need to lay out your pattern. The lengthwise grain line runs parallel to your selvage. The selvages are the two finished sides of the fabric. They're the tightly woven edges that stop the fabric from fraying. There is also the crosswise grain line, which runs perpendicular to the selvage. The main reason to lay out a pattern on the cross grain is to get more stretch in the fabric, or if you want to change the direction of a print. As you get into more advanced sewing projects, the pattern might call for fabric cut on the bias. The bias is a 45-degree angle from the grain line. If I were to fold this corner right here, this fold would be a 45-degree angle. Before you cut out your fabric pieces, pin your pattern pieces to the fabric. I like to insert the pins perpendicular to the seam to stop the pattern from skewing. To cut the pattern pieces, use sewing scissors and hold them flat along the table to get nice, long, smooth cuts. Take a look at the key pattern markings. Starting with these little triangles, they're called notches, and they're important because each notch shows you where to match up the opposite pattern piece along the seam. The easiest way to transfer them from pattern to fabric is to snip about 1/8 of an inch into the seam allowance. But be very careful not to go past the seam allowance or you will end up with a hole in your project. These are darts. It's also important to transfer these markings. The easiest way to do this is with carbon tracing paper and a tracing wheel. Always mark on the wrong side of the fabric by sliding the carbon paper underneath. Use the tracing wheel to trace the dart. At the outside edge of the dart, I like to put 2 little snips at each stitch line. It'll make it easier to find and line up the dart when you're sewing. So those are the basics of prepping your fabric. Once you have this down pat, you're ready to get to the fun part, sewing. Thanks for watching, and don't forget you can click on the eye in the top right corner of this video to learn more sewing techniques or to find the supplies I've been using in this video.